I was watching a clip of this. Peter Kyle, the Secretary, Science and Technology Secretary, he was on Sky News this morning, and he was talking about the Online Safety Act, and lots of people pointing out that Online Safety Act issues over censorship for adults. It's supposed to protect children, but everyone's just getting their VPN, their virtual private network, and they're bypassing it, in which case it's pointless. Nigel Farage, your party, you've said you will scrap the Online Safety Act if you come into power. Now, asked about this, Peter Kyle said, we have people out there who are extreme pornographers, peddling hate, peddling violence. Nigel Farage is on their side. He continued, make no mistake about it. If people like Jimmy Savile were alive today, he'd be perpetrating his crimes online. And Nigel Farage is saying that he's on their side. Now, he's repeatedly asked about this by the host to sort of, was that actually what he meant? And he doubled down on it. He then wrote a tweet on X saying, if you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you're on the side of predators. It's as simple as that. Reform UK leader, your boss, Nigel Farage, has said these words were absolutely disgusting and below the belt and has demanded an apology. What's your reaction?
It is disgusting, below the belt, and he should apologise. And isn't it interesting? Do you remember when Boris Johnson, at the dispatch box, accused Keir Starmer of leading as DPP, when he was leader of the CPS? He was there, of course, when Jimmy Savile potentially could have been prosecuted and wasn't. And the Labour Party went completely tonto and demanded that Boris Johnson apologise. And now here we are, all of a sudden, when the boot's on the other foot, Peter Kyle, I don't know what's taken possession of him, but to use the hideous pedo Jimmy Savile as a political tool is just... It is the lowest of the lows. It shows how desperate the Labour Party are, how much panic they are in. They can't beat us through normal argument and policy, so they're now resorting to this. It'll backfire against them, but it's just not where we should be going in the way of debating things.
But again, I think this ties in completely with a lot of the criticisms that the Labour Party give of anything that Nigel Farage says. You just shout far right, shout racist, shout bigot, compared to a paedophile, when Nigel Farage is often, in these cases, pointing out facts, pointing out the reality, whether it's about channel migrants, whether it's about, talking about, protests at hotels and the risk of outcry. Southport, we'll come into that in a moment, the anniversary of the horrific Southport attacks 1 year on. But he's actually often pointing out facts, and then you just, and this is what Labour does. They just shout, whether it's Nigel Farage or any other ordinary person, if they disagree with them, you just call them names. But it's just not going to wash anymore, is it?
I'm surprised they haven't learned that actually the more they call us racists and bigots, the more we seem to go up in the polls. So if they add pedo to that, well, maybe we'll be trading at 40% in a few weeks' time. Who knows? I mean, the whole thing's just ridiculous. The British people have seen enough, heard enough, and are raging at the state of the country. I just think sometimes we can all make mistakes, and Peter Kyle should just realise he got out of bed the wrong side this morning. Just apologise. He got it badly.
But also, I mean, look, I disagree with the Online Safety Act. Many people in this country disapprove of the Online Safety Act. It's supposed to be protecting children. I would like children to be protected from online porn. I'd like everybody to be protected from the sort of violent online porn that exists now on the internet. And lots of people are completely, blissfully unaware of how horrific and violent. It's incest, it's rape, it's violent. It is really, really nasty stuff.
And here's the point.
But this doesn't protect them.
Not at all. And four out of 5 of the most downloaded apps at the moment are virtual private networks, VPNs, which enable people to go onto the dark web where there is just the most vile, horrific content that would truly
but you don't need to go onto
the same person.
Richard, you don't need to. You literally need to put the word porn into Google and look at the first page of each of those websites to see how horrific this stuff is. And I really think that people should do that so they know what is actually going on. But the reality is you can't protect children without requiring adults to identify themselves. And we've already seen censorship, haven't we, of things like some of the protests outside of migrant hotels online.
And so it's not just legislation, actually. The good news, Julia, is there is new tech coming out imminently from companies. For example, a piece of software that will prevent a pornographic image at the split second before it goes onto your mobile phone screen or iPad screen, it will block it out. That's a great piece of software coming out very shortly. There are mobile phones that are emerging where the parents have to approve every single app that is downloaded. So I think parental demand for tech that protects children will be the faster and better and more effective way. Of course, there's a place for legislation, but it's not the only answer. Yeah. And I think that I'm more excited by the tech solutions than anything else that
might actually work. Although the main thing is maybe people need to stop giving mobile phones to their primary school age children as a number one thing. But there we are. Can I ask you about Donald Trump? We had Prime Minister with Donald Trump yesterday, one of those interminable press conferences, which are basically just Donald Trump meandering along. But he gave some advice to Keir Starmer. Let's have a quick listen to what he had to say.
Generally speaking, the one who cuts taxes the most, the one who gives you the lowest energy prices and the best kind of energy, the one that keeps you out of wars. He's kept you out of wars. And in your case, a big immigration component, you know, because I know that your attitude has become strong on immigration, strong on the toughness of immigration.
No, I'm not quite sure where Trump got the idea that Keir Starmer was tough on the issue of immigration, but this was his advice: stop the boats, cut taxes, keep out of wars and lower energy prices. Do you think Keir Starmer is going to take that advice? And if he does, would it help him beat Nigel Farage at the next election?
Well, it was funny hearing Donald Trump talk about energy. There was no energy, and Keir Starmer slumped in his seat there, just wishing the whole thing would come to a rapid end. There was another thing that he said, which is wind is a con. Windmills are a con, he said, and he's absolutely right. I mean, it's old technology from a couple of hundred years ago. It's bonkers. It drives up energy prices, and he's completely right. Look, the bottom line is that the voters will vote for someone that they believe is going to be strong on immigration, protect our borders, stop the boats, and has the right economic answers to make people better off and get some growth again. And that, I think, is why we're leading in the polls, because people trust us more than energy, and we tell the truth than everybody else, and we tell the truth about net stupid zero.
Well, you're ahead of the cause on that, certainly. Can I ask you also, on a different note, today is the first anniversary of the Southport attack, in which 3 little girls died, 8 others were stabbed, some life-changing injuries, 2 adults as well. We obviously, Axel Rudolph behind bars now for many, many years, not for life. We still find that extraordinary. I don't care whether he was under 18 or not when he committed those crimes. Known to the authorities, as always, these people always are, but nothing was done to actually make sure that he was not able to commit such heinous crimes. And then, of course, we had the post-Southport riots as well. And then we had people who right now, Lucy Connolly and others, in prison right now, not for taking part in riots, but for writing posts online. Your thoughts today?
Well, in a sense, I'd actually rather not think about it, because the whole thing is just too horrific at any day. But I think that have we in the sort of the political world, are the lessons being learned? Are the processes being put in place to prevent a future horror? Frankly, I'm not sure they are. I think what we're seeing is a failure of police leadership and a failure of the main political class, the government, to recognise people's deep anxiety about the state of illegal immigration, the failure to process people and remove people who shouldn't be here, and the high levels of legal immigration, and the impact that's having on our society at every level is truly shocking, and the cost as well, and the cost of illegal immigration, the cost of legal immigration, suppressing British wages, impacting on public services, impacting on vast benefit claims, £1 billion a month from foreign nationals claiming benefits. Well, if foreign nationals are coming here to work, that's the reason for immigration, then why should they claim any benefits at all? Either work or, frankly, go home.
Indeed.